Hello and welcome back, and today I'm going to do a very interesting video. Well, I think it is anyway, maybe you'll disagree, but today I want to do a kind of speed run build of the brand new Synology DS720 Plus. Now, for those that aren't aware, I've been looking at all the brand new Synologies in that new 20 Plus series range, and each of them I've got dedicated videos, kind of more tailored towards their end user. So for the 220, I looked at multimedia and photo backups. For the 420, I was looking at some middling ground stuff there with performance. And with the 720, I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff to do with NVMe SSD caching, as well as performance benefits in virtualization and some surveillance stuff. But did you know that you can set up the majority of, and by majority I mean practically all, Synology NASs with just a mobile phone? And I'm not just talking about accessing, I'm talking setting it up from the ground up. You can install DSM, you can set up a number of the features and functionality of device, users and more, all with just a mobile phone, and all pretty quickly. So in today's video, what I'm going to do, as you've probably told from the fact behind me, there's a big clock. I'm going to set this device up, physically installing drives, as well as installing NVMe SSD media, and connecting the device, powering it up naturally, then using the mobile app DSFinder to set the device up, all to a time limit. And what I'm going to see is just how long it takes. We're going to see how long it takes to get this device set up with DSM and get our volume sorted, our storage pool and volume sorted on this device within a time limit. Just, well, not so much a time limit, we're just going to see how long it takes, really. And you can probably tell looking at the bottom of the screen already, you there in the future, you smarmy bugger, just how long this is going to take anyway. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to find out. This video is going to be twofold. It's going to be here on camera, and there's going to be the screen recording taking place from my mobile phone here. So right now, the screen recording is in progress. Hopefully that's on screen. And what I'm going to do is start this process. I'm going to time it in two different ways. I'm going to use the timer behind me and the good old calculator watch, because I'm stupidly cool, wouldn't you agree? So without further ado, I'm going to get ready to start this right now. 3, 2, 1, and we are counting. So we'll leave that clock there in the background. So obviously there's a few things I've done here in advance of this video. I've unboxed it for a start. I already have a power and a LAN connection here behind me, and I've already got the drives all ready. So I've probably knocked a minute or two off there. The drives are click and load, so you just remove the side panels as we go. It's going to be a lot of meaningless dribble talking here. I could just fast forward through it, and I might skip ahead in some areas, but I will try to leave the clock on screen as much as possible throughout this video. So we've got our first drive ready, and we just slide it in there. We're using Seagate Ironwolf 14 TB drives today, so we are going to get some quite decent amounts of capacity out of this. I'm going to set this up in an SHR, Synology Hybrid RAID, and that Hybrid RAID volume will give us 14 terabytes of storage. I think it'll be like 12.9 or 12.7 once it's all kind of configured out, once you work gigabytes versus terabytes. And with the devices set up, we're also pairing it with a couple of Seagate Ironwolf NVMe SSDs to go in the base area of the device. Put that there, we've got the drive already pre-installed. You'll always find the slightly bigger enterprise drives, they fit just barely, they're huge into those trays. So we're using the Ironwolf NVMe's, and to install those we go to the base of this device, pop that down upside down, we remove the two covers from the top. How are we doing for time? We've done like 1:36, and it should be said this could probably done a pinch quicker if I wasn't making a video for YouTube where I wasn't talking to you guys directly during this. No screwdriver required, as you've seen so far. I've already unboxed the external PSU that this device arrives with. There we go, we've got our NVMe's inside, and we're going to set those up for read and write caching. Full disclosure, I have never set up caching before on the mobile app. I've done it on the desktop many times, so for all I know, I'm not going to be able to do it on the app, so that's going to be as much of a surprise to me as it is for you, but that's half the fun of this video. Next, we've got our external power brick. We're going to connect it in. Going to get that there. And again, I have already powered this on at the mains there in the background. So So we're going to get that there. And again, we might hear a slight click there. We've got our green light on the PSU. And next, we're going to get our Ethernet connection here, which is already going into the router above me there. We're going to pop that into LAN connection 1. We've got our drives, we've got our NVMe media, and now we're going to power this device up. Now, two things straight off the bat while it does it. I'm going to get my phone ready. First and foremost, you may notice the camera quality is slightly different today. It's quite light. I've got in some new lighting here for some videos coming up very, very soon. We're going to have some bigger units, and that's why this is insanely bright. And I've moved the camera a lot closer than normal, so you've got this lovely sheen on my old grizzled face. Second thing is these drives, if we listen, I don't know how well that's picking up on the mic. I hope that has picked up. Enterprise level drives, you're probably clacking it there. I shouldn't really talk over it, but you'll probably hear it if I bring the mic a little bit closer. You're going to be able to tell the difference between enterprise level drives and standard drives. These drives will make a pinch more noise than you might be used to. Not a huge amount, but when they're being read and written to, you will hear a lot more noise. I'm just going to move the mic back. It looks like our device is now ready to be interacted with the mobile app. So now, well, hopefully on screen, this has switched to the screen recording. And now we're going to make our way into the Synology DSFinder application. So I'm going to be looking here, and I don't know if you guys are watching me here in the post, but on the app I can see right now that it's asking, do we want to set up a new NAS or manage an existing NAS? Obviously we want to set up a brand new one. We can ask if we've got a Synology account already. I already do, but I'm not going to set it up on this occasion, but you can enter your login information or create a new one. It's now going to talk you through what you need to do, making sure the drives are in, making sure you've connected the cable. All of that is stuff that I've done. And now it's going to look, and it's found the device on the local area network, as you can see there. So we just go ahead, we click there, and it's asking us, it hasn't got DSM installed, do we want to go ahead? I'm going to click install. So now it's talking to the device, and the device is now going to start installing DSM on the available drive media inside. It's going to ask us about what it's going to be doing automatically, so it is going to set up our SHR, Synology Hybrid RAID, nice and quickly, and it's going to let us know that these drives and disks are about to be formatted. So we're going to click OK, and now it's asking if we are okay to set up and agree to all the terms and conditions, and it's going to set up a dynamic IP. Now this might be the bit that I'm going to fast forward. We can enable whether we want notifications from the device to this app. For now, I'm going to click OK, and this will now do push notifications to my mobile phone right now during the setup and during when the device has notifications. Now, hopefully my phone isn't interfering with the microphone. If it has done that in the background, I should have anticipated that. I apologise if that's happened. Looking at the clock, we've done 5 minutes and 35 seconds so far. And what I'm going to do now is rabbit at you for a few minutes in the vain hope that while I'm doing it, this device will set itself up. If it doesn't, I'm just going to fast forward and hopefully have me still on camera here, bored as a board, leaving that counter going along. So why would you use a mobile phone to set up a NAS? It's, quite an impressive piece of kit, and using a mobile seems a bit low-key, doesn't it? Well, how much of what we do every day now is done on mobile phones? Not just home users, but business users too. A lot of people have made the switch to iPads, to mobile devices, Chromebooks, just portable devices becoming our primary device. And in that environment and in that world, the idea of setting up an enterprise level piece of kit like a 720 Plus is actually something you're probably going to do with a mobile. If not by default, then you're going to consider it. Lots of the IP cameras and devices that I've talked about here on the channel in the past don't arrive with desktop client applications. Some of them are solely mobile interactive. And although a NAS, I still believe you get far more out of it if you are utilizing a desktop scenario. It's worth stating that if all you've got is mobile devices, or your primary environment is mobile centric, then chances are you're going to favor mobile setup. Now, DSM has been mobile enabled in terms of setup and interaction for a very long time. I mean, there are lots of different applications from Synology for setting it up. If we go back to my home screen here, we can look at least 7 applications, and that's not even all of them. There are loads of applications from Synology. We've got live cam to turn your phone into a mobile camera, for surveillance, DS cam to monitor your surveillance, drive as a one portal access and synchronization point, DSFinder you have there for finding the device that we're using, chat as an alternative to WhatsApp and as an alternative to Skype, DS Note as that note station kind of shared to-do list environment. But switching back to DSFinder, we can see that we're already up to 30% of this installation. Now, it's worth mentioning that while it's downloading DSM, this is going to be very much based on your internet and what your upload and download is for this device. There will probably be a version of DSM pre-installed, and almost certainly in the newer generation it's going to be DSM 6.2. But to make sure you've got the latest version, it will download it and install it in the background. Now, what I will state is I'm utilizing a mobile router. Those that saw my videos on the TP-Link mobile router will know that that's what I'm using for today in the background lately, and I'm doing that marginally because I run a portable setup, and you know, not to date this video too much, but it's being done during self-isolation and COVID right now, so I am running a mobile setup. But it is quite beneficial we're using a metered, smaller data connection for this video, because I think it's going to be quite realistic for a number of you. Now, this stage will probably be a lot quicker. You can probably shave a few minutes off this, maybe 2 to 3, if you are running a good, decent internet connection, or you're not going to install the latest version of DSM. You're going to use the one that's pre-installed. But for now, what I'm going to do is leave this running on screen, and I'm probably going to fast forward this video right now, but leave everything on camera, as you can see, to the completion, download, and restart of that DSM. Let's go. Okay, so DSM has installed, and right now the system is restarting. We have that countdown. I don't know why I'm showing my phone to the screen, because chances are I've already plastered there on screen the screen recording of this mobile. But we're already now restarting the device, and we will hear a beep once the device has restarted, and my mobile should automatically log into the device. And from that point forward, I can interact with this system just using the mobile app. Now, let's see how far we can take the mobile app, because I think for now, this will show that the device can have DSM installed and set up with DSFinder. Everything else after now is a bit of a bonus for me. I want to see if we can set up the storage pool, can we set up the volume, and can we set up the SSD cache using those Iron Wolf 510s. That's going to be quite interesting. Me and, I don't know, Pugsy, the Synology cow, we're going to go through the whole thing and figure out what's going on with that. We know it's a restart that's happened because the LEDs here at the top have disappeared. And right now, according to this, we have 8 minutes and 50 seconds, but I'm pretty sure this countdown is going to be skipped forward somewhat. There's a lot of safety time, I think, in that. And again, I don't know how well you guys can hear the noise of this device while it's clicking around there in the background with those enterprise level drives while the device spins up. But we should hear that beep pretty soon, and that's when we'll start hearing those beeps there when the system has mounted those drives and DSM is fully up, running from the OS. And again, this will work. I know this video is targeting the brand new DS720 Plus, but it's worth highlighting that the steps in today's video can be largely applied to any Synology NAS. Thank you for interrupting me there. But let's have a look. My screen's gone into off there. Let's reopen that because it's turned the screen off. And as we can see, DSM is now letting us log in. I'm sorry about the screen turning itself off there. So what we have to do now is create our admin account. And unsurprisingly, I'm going to go for the word admin. And I'm just going to go for the word password there. I know that is not safe, and I'm sure a number of you are going to be very angry at me. I do not recommend you use the word password. I'm just doing this to keep things simple. Let's see if the Synology will tell me off. And it will let me go ahead and do that, but it is going to warn me what a terrible password I've selected. Next, it's going to ask us if we would like to share statistics and information with Synology, something I'm not going to do, but of course you're more than welcome to agree to that if you so choose. That is completely a preference, and it's nice to know that it is optional. Last thing is just letting you know, other apps you should install to interact with your files and use some of those tailored applications like DS Photo, DS Video, and the music applications too, so you can access files in a far more tailored fashion. And there we go, it's asking you if you want to install those apps on your mobile phone. But if we switch back to the general settings, we can take a good look at what's available. As we can see, the storage has created both the SHR and created a volume for us by default. We've not had to configure those options. All of that has been done for us. We can see the caching device there in the background, and we can see each of the individual drives that we're using, both of those 14 TB Seagate Iron Wolves. We can have a look at some of the options that we can do there in the background, as well as set up that Synology account there. On top of that, we can have a look at the user management options, and we can create other users as well. So say we want to create a second user, we can go ahead and give them their own account very quickly, give them a password, and again, I'm well aware, say this person is sales or something like that, we can create a user group if we choose. We can allow to let Alan, in this case, change his password if we want, or we can say no to that and just decline it if we so choose. And we can assign them a user group if we like, making them an admin or just a general user. So for now, I'm going to make Alan an admin, and we can say whether we want this phone or their device to receive notifications. And there you go, we've got lots of information there being shareable, so we could share that information with our end users. And I totally should have disabled Facebook there in the background, shouldn't I? How embarrassing. So, moving forward, we can look at update settings if we want to update the version of DSM. We can look at system information about what we've got going on there in the background. And we can look at some of the other stuff, such as accessing DSM from our mobile device. So if we look at accessing from our mobile device here, we're looking at the streamlined version of DSM that allows us access to our NAS in a slightly more tailored fashion. So if we go to the storage manager there, we can look at all the individual media inside, as well as look at the caching devices there. And we can look at all of those drives and media. Can we set up the cache? Let's take a look. If we move forward, we can make our way into some of the storage options. If we look at storage, we can see if it's possible to create that area of caching, because it's listing a cache device, but I fear we're not able to set up caching yet on this device. If we move forward, let's look into the options. Have a look, because right now we have set up this device, but let's see how far we can take it within this storage manager. I'm going to leave the clock running, of course, not that it's necessary anymore, but it's nice to see what options we've got. If we have a look there, we can look at the individual drives, because it's created our SHR, and we can have a look forward. It doesn't look like within the app we're able to create our area of cache. Now, what's going to be interesting is, has the cache been created in the background anyway? Has the device created our area of cache? And for that, I'm going to need to switch over to the laptop shortly. But for now, let's end the setup here, because I do think we've set up everything. But the last thing we want to know is, did we set up the area of cache on our Synology NAS? And for that, I'm going to need to switch over here. So we're going to leave that clock there running in the background. I am then going to have a look, and we're going to open up the scanner of the local area. We're going to have a little look. We're going to rescan our local area network. There it is. There's our 720 Plus that I'm now accessing via the web browser. We'll enter the admin credentials that we created. And now we're accessing this device as we would in a desktop setting to see how this compares. And again, we've still got access to the device on the mobile there. And on the laptop screen here, we'll make our way into the storage manager and see if the system automatically made the cache or if it's something we're going to have to do ourselves. And it looks like the SSD cache, if we have a look, is not been created. We can create our area of read-write cache, as you see here, utilizing those SSDs that we installed in the base of the device. Click Next. There's a RAID 1, so a read-write cache scenario is what we're open to there. We click apply. We understand the SSDs will be wiped. And now it's going to start creating our area of SSD cache. We're leaving that there in the background. And that's about it. We have done a full overview of what Synology NAS and their setup and what you can do with them. But this has been how easy is it and how long does it take to set up a Synology NAS with just the mobile app. If we reopen the countdown that we put there on screen earlier, we can see that we're shy of 20 minutes, and I'm not exactly rushed. That was with a limited data connection, that was with doing this nice and slow that you can all understand, and just using the mobile phone app. Overall, gotta say I'm impressed. I hope you guys are too. We will be doing full performance benchmarks with this device, utilizing that Seagate Iron Wolf media and that NVMe SSD cache to see if there's what the performance benefits are to a 2-bay that utilizes SSD caching. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Do click like if you had. It's going to be a lot of fun sorting this out in post with 3 different screens. Can't wait for that. But click subscribe if you want to learn more. Click like so I know this is the sort of content you guys enjoy. And visit the links in the description to help move things forward and support this channel and what I do. But see you next time.